Hello and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to talk about the coronavirus vaccine. Should I take the vaccine? That's the question. Right, so hello and welcome. Coronavirus, so I'm recording this in the Christmas of 2020. So if you're watching that a few years down the line, please spare a thought for us. We are in the middle of the pandemic. We are not sure what to do. Lots of people saying different things, and we want to make sure that we do the right thing for ourselves and our patients, our family members. So it's very difficult and tricky. And we just got a license for two new vaccines and that use the new methods. It's called mRNA. But otherwise, everything is still under development. There's few unlicensed / in phase 1 and phase 2 trials, and some of them are actually in phase 3 trials vaccines that's on the market, and different countries are doing different things. So wherever you're watching this, I'm recording in the UK in Christmas 2020. So things might be different in your country and might be different in other countries as well. And if you're watching this 5 years down the line laughing, please spare thought. We're really desperate to get some information to get out of this pandemic, which has really hit hard. So in Christmas, everybody's at home here in the UK. There's no Christmas. There's no gathering families. There's nothing. We are in lockdown in London. Some other part of the UK has got more ease of the restrictions, but basically there is no normal Christmas. There's no family gathering. So and it's a really big thing here. So let me just talk slightly about the vaccines, because that's exciting news that came through over the last 6 weeks before Christmas, and it's been licensed in the UK for 2 weeks. So lots of my colleagues who work in the frontline, doctors, has now been vaccinated. I'm waiting my turn, and then hopefully by doing this video, I'll give you some tips and some ideas to make you get your decision. So hopefully, if I can help you make your mind up, see, will I take the vaccine? Should I take the vaccine, or should I wait? Or what should I do? So this is all my thoughts, and it's my thinking. So please, if you agree or disagree, I would like to know what your thoughts are in the comments below. My thinking is, look, going forward, I think we're only going to have one of three things. A, we can be locked down forever. We stay in our home, don't see friends or families, fear of catching coronavirus, which has killed lots of people, especially in the UK, and all over the world. There are more than a few millions now. Virus is a really big thing as I'm recording this today. So A, you stay at home forever until one day it will go away, although saying that, I don't think it will go away, because it's not done for the last year. I don't think it's going to go away. So if you want to woke up and then find things gone. So 2 is take the risk, put your mask on, you make sure you wash your hands, use your sanitizers regularly, but also be careful, because if you catch coronavirus, there is no guarantee that A, it will be very simple flu for you symptoms. B, that you will not be unwell and need hospital admission. And the main problem with the coronavirus is the respiratory system. So all the patients I've seen dying from coronavirus started with respiratory failure, we say in medicine, which means that the breathing has got a problem. It's usually not the virus itself that's causing a problem. It's usually the immune system responds to the virus. So the way I can try to explain it as you're fighting the virus initially, you clear it, but the immune system thinks, there should be still more out there. So it's like bringing, a bomb to a gunfight, literally like a bomb to a gunfight, and you just blew everybody. And that's what happened with your lungs, your breathing, your respiratory system, all be affected. And that is the main reason why people unfortunately die. There's other things like circulatory failure, other renal failure, heart failure, lots of other system that goes. But if there is breathing that goes and you need oxygen and you can't get onto a ventilator, the hospitals are full, can't get that oxygen, it's really hard. Seeing patients die from it is definitely has affected me deeply. and I've lost a few of my patients to it. And I've lost family members as well, but I wasn't looking after them as their physician, so I can't really say exactly what their stages are. Most of my patients are what we say immunocompromised, who's like their immunity is not great, all right. But also other patient who's completely fine. I've seen young, fit, well patients just die. A few of our colleagues in the medical physician has died where they're really fit and well, no other comorbidities. I'm hoping if you're watching this a few years down the line that you can see that we found out why do people go that way and why people get it simply. I think it's something that we find in the immune system response and the genetics. That's going to be something that we look into. But as of today, there is no guarantee which path will you take if you take coronavirus. A, simple as flu, as they say. B, needing hospital but not intubation and ventilation. C, going to needing ventilation in intensive care. We did everything that we can, but unfortunately people will die. You lose loved ones. That's not the last thing, actually, because there's another thing. So you've passed all these, you've got the flu symptoms, you've gone to the hospital, you've managed to escape the intensive care, but you need a bit of oxygen. Now, as of today, we are finding that there's something called long COVID syndrome, which has been documented in lots of medical journals, and the researches are going on. And we have locally started a clinic looking after these patients from the respiratory point of view, with a respiratory physician, physiotherapy, heart doctors, a lot of doctors sitting around the table trying to get a big picture of why you've got these symptoms. Short of breath, fatigue is a very important one, nausea, loss of taste and sensation for a longer time. There's other things that can happen. So there's lots and lots of symptoms that come with COVID-19 that unfortunately can leave long-term effect. But the most important one is the breathing. So lots of people cannot breathe for a long time afterwards and unable to do what they used to do before COVID. So if you're thinking about that, so that's option 2. Option 3, which the one we're going to talk about, is actually the vaccine. So should I take the vaccine? Should I not take the vaccine? There's lots of talk now in the media and on the social media as well about vaccine. Is it a good, safer, or is it a nightmare? And the worry is this: we have always had vaccines, all right. I've been vaccinated. My children have been vaccinated. We have lots of family members been vaccinated by lots of other vaccines that have been there for years and years. And actually, as a matter of fact, some countries, when you go in Africa, if you're applying for a visa to go there, you must have a specific vaccine because of the disease is specific there. And if you know, there's like dengue fevers and things like that. Even in America, there's lots of vaccines that would be helpful if you're going to the wild. So vaccines is not new. It's not something that new to us, and we use a lot. And we wanted, and we advise our family members to get it. And if countries put it specifically, if you have to go abroad, you must have it. So the concept of vaccine itself is already embedded in our culture, in our history, human history, and the way vaccines work is different for different types of viruses. But the way it generally works, it means it educates your immune system. Say, look, this is what the virus looks like. Please prepare yourself to kill it and avoid long-term consequences of having the virus. So in a simple term, this is what usually happens. Get a vaccine, educate the immune system, get the response, and hope that actually the vaccine works. Because there's lots of people, and even my patients who's got an immune deficiency problem, the vaccines usually doesn't work as good as it will work in other people. So it's really hard to not think that vaccines will be the future, right? But the worry that everybody's worried about this time is that, it's very, very, very short time. Usually vaccine takes years and years, and this one has taken about a year from the publication of the gene sequence of the COVID-19 in February 2020 by the Chinese medical professions helped us to go ahead and look at the microscope and develop that vaccine. But it usually takes years, and it took about less than years. There must be cooking something, isn't it? There's a catch. Always there's a catch. Well, we don't know if there is the catch, all right? We don't know exactly. We know that the new methods of RNA vaccines has been there since 2005, so about 15 years, but in the first time to be applied completely in human trials. There's lots of reasons why the mRNA vaccine is very volatile, is very fragile. So we have to usually put it in something called vector, which is another virus, and then inject it in our muscles. That's the standard way of doing vaccines. That's the usual way. But what's happening with this new technology is that you're taking that RNA and just put it directly. Though there are lots of logistics reason why that's happening, you have to kind of wrap it up in a, should I say, in a simple term, again, a fatty cover, and that fatty cover goes into the muscle, and it does not change your DNA, all right? Because I've heard lots of things, oh, it's going to change our DNA, we're going to be zombies afterwards, and it's like, but it doesn't work like that. So our cells has got a factory of proteins, all right? It's away from the nucleus, which is the main DNA part, all right? It's a cytoplasm. A cytoplasm, you get this RNA, and the ribosome starts to kind of manufacture protein, and the protein is the one that goes to the cell surface, and then the immune system recognize this is a foreign, and then it starts to attack, right? So this is how normally any vaccine works. And there's lots of vaccines currently in this phase 3 clinical trial. Oh, what does that phase 3 means? Right, let me go back. So there's 3 phases for the vaccine. Phase 1, which is basically giving the vaccine to a few number of people. Say, for example, for the sake of argument's sake, 100 people. Make sure A, they don't have any significant side effects. They've not been unwell. B, the amount of vaccine you give, so should you give just 10 mil, 15 mil, or any dose of the vaccine you give, will it affect their symptoms or they cause some more harm? So the phase 1 trials make sure that there's no harm, right? So if the vaccine passed phase 1, that means it's been given to people, they didn't have harm, it should be safe, right? Let's just put that there. Phase 2 is when you put the vaccine to kind of general, a bigger cohort of people, but you're not sure which dose of the vaccine give you the better response. So you give small dose, see what the response is, give a bigger dose, see what the response is, and then at the end of the trial, find out the right dose for the right vaccine. So that's phase 2, right? And phase 2 is usually more so if phase 1 was 100, this may be about 500. Right, and then phase 3 trial. Phase 3 trial is the vaccine working in real life? So you need lots of people who lives in an area where there's this virus, this vaccine that you're trying to fight is living, and then you give them that vaccine and see if it actually working. So if this is working, that means the people who took the vaccine and the people who took something called placebo, which not vaccine, is just literally like water. Both of them think mentally that they got a vaccine and it's going to work and they're going to be protected, and put them in the same environment. Say, for example, in a village that has got this overwhelming virus, and then see how many of the one who had the vaccine has got infection and how many of the who didn't have the vaccine has got infection, and then you try to find, and that's how you find out is it actually working or not. That's what happened, and the Pfizer, BioNTech, and the Moderna one, which is the mRNA vaccine, has been tested in at least 20,000 people in the published journals. So it has been tested, but we don't know the long-term side effects, doctor. I don't want to take it because I'm sure there will be a catch. There will be something. Long-term side effects, they're not sure about it. Well, let me tell you, we're not sure about long-term side effects of lots of things, and especially COVID itself. COVID itself have long-term side effects, and to be honest, long-term side effects from the lungs. You want to make sure you breathe properly. So I'm going to try to cut this short because it will take lots of, but there's nothing without side effects. Yes, we're not sure about the vaccine, the side effects, but we are not sure about the COVID long-term side effects as well, because there's lots of them currently materializing. Again, if you're watching this few years down the line, so please spare our thought, we don't know yet. Okay. Will the vaccine cause long-term side effects in the muscle arm that has been injected? So you might have a swollen muscle, or it's not working properly, or some of the other vaccine side effects that came across recently is you've got an anaphylactic reaction. So people, if you have an allergy, please don't take the vaccine, because if significant allergy, if your doctor told you not to take the vaccine, please listen to your doctor. But in general, people who are significantly allergic to a lot of things will have allergy to anything. So, any vaccine. There's other, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, all this thing can happen in COVID vaccines. But again, it's not the breathing, it's not the one that kills, it's not the one that causes a long-term disability in breathing. So, I think these are the three choices. A, stay at home, lock yourself, don't go anywhere. Hopefully one day you'll woke up and things will be back to normal, with whatever normal used to be, but I really doubt it, because until we find a treatment for it, which we don't have as far as of today, it's very difficult to say, look, you'll be all right going out. Two, take your chances, get the COVID. It might be mild, it might be severe. You might have COVID pneumonia and die. You might get out of the hospital and then have a long-term side effects. You might get out of hospital no side effects. These all options. The third option is take the vaccine and see if it will. It might not work in you, right? I'm not promising. I mean, the clinical trial now is saying up to 90% effectiveness. All right. So how do I make sure that I'm in this 90%, not the 10% that's not going to work? There's no guarantee, right? There's no guarantee. There's a chance. So you might be in the 10% that doesn't work. So if you're taking it, also still be careful. Make sure you do all the precautions. If you didn't take it, if you took it and the vaccine worked in you might get fever, you might get a swollen, might not have anything, right? And then you just hope it will work in you, but you still have to take the precaution. So I think the new normal will still have the precaution, whatever you decide to do. But maybe in the long term, if we find a treatment for it, that would be the best thing. If we didn't find a treatment, will vaccine be the answer? Please let me know what you think and what you're going to do in the comments below. And see you in the next video.